Hi everyone, this is Molly and welcome to another Midheaven reading where we look at the astrology of a chart with the Aries energy at the midheaven. Now this is not a comprehensive reading as there are many layers to a career or professional reading. So we're just going to talk about the general themes, but I am going to do this at a more intermediate and advanced level. So if you've been studying astrology for a while, you may find this to be a better teaching video and more in alignment with where you're ready to take your astrological studies. So the midheaven on this chart is at 3 degrees of Aries. The midheaven is always between the 9th house and the 10th house, and it's the energy here that you're ready to really put out into the world. Your midheaven is the highest point in your chart. It's where you're here to be recognized. It is an indicator of the energies that you are here to master. It's your career, your profession, your job title, and your status in the world. So with the Aries midheaven, it is the energy of the pioneer, the leader, the one who is independent, and you need that in your career to feel satisfied. You need to do your own thing, have your own way. Maybe you own your own business or you lead a team. You're here to be out in front, the front runner, the one who goes first, that you take a risk to try something new. So this makes you great for anything that is interesting or cutting edge. It's the energy of someone who says, yes, let's do it. I want to try it. Let's go for it. Now we look at what is happening in the 10th house for more insights into job satisfaction. And in this chart, we can see that we have lovely Venus at 21 degrees of Aries, conjunct Chiron at 22 degrees of Aries. Now, Venus is where we source our self-worth and where we feel valuable. It's how we love ourselves. In Aries, she has a more independent streak. She likes to go it alone and do her own thing. Again, she's a leader. She wants to work for herself. She wants to be the one in charge. This is the feminine energy in a chart. So this is someone who needs really to do her own thing and maybe doesn't want to work with people. That's just a first look assessment here. And it's conjunct Chiron, and Chiron is our wounded healer. What we're healing in our soul's energy to understand ourselves more and to really dig in and find more love for ourselves. So with Chiron conjunct Venus, there could be a fear of being recognized, of being seen for being valuable. There could be a wound around money because Venus is money in our chart and what we believe we're worth and what we believe we can make or what we believe other people will pay us. So that's a big theme here in this chart, is that wound of Venus that really brings up, will people recognize me? Will people pay me? Will I make the money I want to make? And that can create anxiety until you learn to turn that around and to heal that part of yourself. So the career, when Chiron is in the 10th house, the career is where you're healing yourself, where you're recognizing yourself and your gifts and your abilities. And with Venus here, it really pulls in the energy of money. And so that means that career is really important, where you're going to feel challenged even to step out and to show that you are worthy, you are appreciated, people do value you, and that all shows up in the career and profession. So now we look to the ruler of Aries. And because there is the Aries midheaven and these two planets in Aries, we look to Mars in your chart. So you want to go to your astrology chart and find Mars. And where does Mars show up? Well, in this chart, Mars is at 19 degrees of Cancer in the 12th house. Now, Mars in Cancer is not assertive. It's more of a wishy-washy, wait for things to feel right before I act. Mars in Cancer, well, Cancer is the crab, okay? So it goes sideways. It's not direct action. It's what feels right. What can I find on the outskirts? Where can I go for more information to stay safe, to feel safe? And in the 12th house, it's behind the scenes. So this is a behind the scenes energy of someone who does want to, ultimately they want to assert themselves in a career where they feel appreciated and loved. That's what they're healing in this lifetime. But Mars in Cancer rules these these planets and this point, and he's frustrated. And do you see how he's at 19 degrees here, and he squares these two planets? He's frustrated. And he can feel like he doesn't know what to do, where to go. How do I solve this? How do I go into this energy so that I know what action to take? Mars in Cancer needs to feel safe before it acts. It's not a risk taker. So it wants to really get the sense that it's okay to make a choice or to go for something. Now you also see how this energy is conjunct the ascendant, which is at 23 degrees of Cancer. So this person can come across perhaps as even as a Martian, which is how we call the Mars energy. It's, Cancer is a female energy, but it can be more, you can have an unconscious self-assertion with Mars there. And you want to make sure that you're doing a lot of body work when Mars is conjunct the ascendant, and that your body isn't holding your emotions. That can happen with the Cancer ascendant. So this Mars is big because not only does it rule the midheaven, it's conjunct the ascendant, which is how you come across to other people, the front door, and it's frustrated and it's squaring these two energies. So you can see how this can all build up, but we can look for ways to move the energy so that Mars isn't stuck and he has a way to move. So we look at where the moon is in this chart, and that's because the moon rules Cancer. And we can see here how the moon is at 25 degrees of Gemini, conjunct Mercury at 21 degrees of Gemini. This person has a lot of ideas. They have a lot of solutions. They're a thinker. They have great ways of solving things. And look at how that moon and Mercury sextile these two. So the energy leads us to Gemini, and that this is someone who is here to teach, to share. They have information. It's in the 12th house, so it's behind the scenes. It can be the behind the scenes writer, like a ghost writer, right? It's someone who maybe doesn't want to be front and center, but they want to do something that's intellectually stimulating, that gives them a place to direct their mind, so that they feel like they have a purpose, that they have ideas they can follow. This is the data, linear thinking, details. It's also the ability to handle projects. Gemini can handle projects. And I think this person needs variety, not only with the Gemini energy and the Aries desire to start and initiate. They need different ways to express themselves. So when this Mars gets frustrated and doesn't know what to do, we go to the Gemini energy, which syncs up nicely. So you see how there's these 4 planets that are all talking well together? The moon and Mercury are talking nicely with Chiron and Venus. So this is where there's greater career satisfaction, when you can bring in the Gemini energy to share, communicate, give information, to teach, to get out of your own head, and to also receive, so that you're passing on information that benefits other people. It can be even, say, a professor, like someone who teaches, who gives back in a way that's satisfying, and then they can see the value that they're giving to other people. So when this Mars gets frustrated, he has to go to Gemini, and he can be really subjective, reactionary, or defensive in Cancer. And so he has to take a more objective viewpoint, which is supplied here, and to say, okay, you have 2 choices. What do you want to do? And whatever you want to do, hand it off to these 2 ladies, and they're going to run with it. And they should do their own thing and have their own space, lead their own projects. So this is good for project management, for bringing the pieces together, for initiating something new. All of that could feel really satisfying for this person. Now, we can look at this energy even more and see how the moon and Mercury are receiving a supportive trine down here from Uranus at 24 degrees of Libra in the 4th house. Again, behind the scenes, private energy, but it can work with people when it feels safe. It can partner up. It has good ideas that it wants to offer. And the other thing that we have to, of course, look at is the sun sign for this individual. Now, her sun is in Gemini. So again, it reinforces the Gemini ideas, the teachers. And in the 11th house, it's a visionary. So they want to have new ideas to offer out, perhaps to work alone, to be independent, but to give something back, to work with people, to connect with people, to be social. This is a social energy, and to share ideas and to be valued and appreciated for it. So you see how the energy trail quickly becomes more interesting and more complicated, but it helps to direct this person into what they're here to do. So the Mars on the midheaven needs independence, needs to do their own thing. If this is you, please own this in yourself and know that you might not always want to collaborate. You want to work on your own. You want to have your own things to take control of, and that's one of your gifts. So don't diminish that in yourself. Then you want to honor your Mars and what your Mars has to offer. One of the things here is that Mars in Cancer can help you trust the timing, to surrender to the bigger timing of things, to not think that you have to will it all yourself, and to understand that it's okay to work with other people if you feel safe with them. But a lot about this chart is about independence of ideas, putting information out there, offering it out in a bigger way, and trusting that you have the courage to do so. So I hope this has given you some good insights to consider if you have an Aries midheaven, and I'll be back here soon with another teaching video for you.